Let's say that you find yourself in the following situation. You hate being fat. You must lose weight. Your obesity is driving you crazy. Your doctor is constantly warning you. None of your clothes fit. The whole weight thing has gotten out of control for you. On the other hand, you don't know how to lose the weight, or you've tried something and it didn't work, or you've tried something and it did work for a week, and then you ate 3 pizzas one night and you actually gained weight instead of losing weight on that program. How are we going to fix this? What are we going to do to actually get control over our weight? It seems like it's impossible, doesn't it?
Here's a thought. What if we think about food like it's a drug? What if obese people are addicted to food? I know this may sound ridiculous, but stick with me for a minute. Let's compare a food addiction to an alcohol addiction. Meet Bob. Bob has become addicted to alcohol. Bob is an alcoholic, and alcohol's ruining his life. It's obvious to everyone. Bob has lost his job, his house, his girlfriend, his savings, his health because of his alcohol addiction, because of his alcoholism. What would we say to Bob? I mean, it's obvious, right? We would tell Bob to stop drinking alcohol. It's that simple. Just stop drinking, we would say. Alcohol's ruining your life. Just completely abstain from alcohol. You should never drink another drop of alcohol again in your life. That's so obvious. Well, it's the same with other addictions too, right? If you're addicted to heroin or meth or gambling, whatever, if something's ruining your life, the solution is simply to stop doing it. It's that simple. But what about food? What if food is ruining your life? And believe me, I know obesity ruins people's lives. It causes myriad problems. It's harder to get a job. It's harder to get a date. It's unattractive. It causes a whole bunch of health effects, blah, blah, blah. It makes me feel like crap.
Here's the problem, though. We can't just stop eating food, right? We can't just stop cold turkey and not eat anymore because we'd starve to death. But what if we could stop eating just one type of food? And what if, in doing that, it would eliminate all the hunger pangs and the cravings and the binging? What if, with one food category gone, we could actually gain control of our eating for the first time?
This is what low-carb dieting is about. The idea is to eliminate the type of food that's causing most of the problems, carbs, from your diet and gain control of your eating. What is a carb? It's the sugary and starchy parts of your diet. Most junk food is high carb, including pizza, fries, ice cream, cookies, soda, breakfast cereal. You can eat 2 slices of pizza and ingest 70 or 80 grams of carbs. A 24 ounce of soda has the same 70 grams of carbs in it. So does a large order of fries. So does 5 ounces of potato chips. So does a few cookies, depending on how big the cookies are. A typical American eats 200, 300, even 400 grams of carbs per day. So what's the problem? Who cares how many carbs you eat?
The problem is that many of us, tens of millions of us, me included, are addicted to carbs. We are carbaholics, plain and simple, addicts of carbohydrates. How do you know if you're a carbaholic? Well, if you're obese, chances are you're a carbaholic. It's that simple. But try this. If you say to yourself completely earnestly, oh, I'll just eat 1 slice of this pizza, and then 5 minutes later you've eaten the whole thing, or I'll have just 1 cookie, maybe 2, and then 5 minutes later you've eaten the whole package, or you do that kind of thing with ice cream or chips or whatever, you're a carbaholic. That's a classic symptom of carbaholics, especially if you do that and then 10 or 15 minutes later when you've gotten control of yourself again, you think, why did I do that? That means you're a carb addict, a carbaholic.
I am a carbaholic, there's no question, and it's made me 100 pounds obese. There's clearly a problem here. So what is the solution? The solution is to do the same thing that an alcoholic or a heroin addict or a compulsive gambler must do when they realize that their addiction is killing them. We have to stop eating carbs because carbs are ruining our lives. At least for me, in my body, cutting out carbs has a gigantic benefit. It really lowers all of the hunger pangs and the cravings and the binge eating. I can actually control my eating when I'm not eating carbs. Why? Why does eliminating carbs have this effect? It has to do with sugar spikes in the bloodstream. Say I eat a cookie at 2 p.m. It causes a huge sugar spike, and then there's the subsequent sugar crash, and when that happens, my body craves more, so it slams me with "I'm hungry" messages until I eat something. So I eat more, and then more, and pretty soon I've eaten between 3,000 or even 4,000 calories for the day, and I become obese. By eliminating carbs, it eliminates these sugar spikes during the day, and it really helps. It turns out it also has some really important health benefits.
For me personally, the whole abstinence thing is also incredibly important. For me, if I can say carbs are off limits and completely cut myself off, if I can put a mental fence around carbs and keep them out of my life, then I'm able to respect that fence. I'm able to control it for some reason. It works for me and it works for a lot of other people.
So how do you start low-carb dieting? There's lots of plans that you may have heard of and that are variations on the low-carb dieting theme, including the Atkins diet, the Dukan diet, keto dieting or just keto, South Beach diet, some forms of the paleo diet, and so on. These diets all vary in their specifics, but they all have one thing in common. Participants stop eating high-carb foods. Participants try to keep their total carbs per day down below 50 grams or even 20 grams a day. What does this mean in real terms? It means you stop eating junk food, fast food, anything filled with sugar or starch. You stop eating pizza, ice cream, cookies, soda, breakfast cereal, chips, bread, anything with flour really, cake, pancakes, cupcakes, muffins, biscuits, rice, potatoes, corn, sugary sweet yogurt, sugary sweet coffee drinks, all of that stuff. You just stop eating it.
Some people, they look at this list and they say, I can't do that. I love pizza. I can't give up pizza. If you're in that boat, then yeah, you're a carbaholic. It sounds a little bit like a heroin addict. But if you keep taking heroin, you're going to die. It's the same thing with food. It's making you obese, and the obesity is going to kill you. Either you want to live and be thin and be able to do all the stuff you love doing, or you're going to eat pizza, 3 pizzas a night sometimes, and it's going to make you obese. Which is it? Like, which do you want?
What are you going to eat instead of carbs? Protein and healthy, non-starchy vegetables. You can eat things like chicken, beef, fish, cottage cheese, lunch meat, eggs, cheese, nuts, in moderation. Nuts have a ton of calories if you eat a lot of them. And then green, non-starchy veggies like broccoli, spinach, lettuce, asparagus, peppers, cucumbers, green beans, and so on. These are the things that are safe to eat. So let's say that you want to give low-carb dieting a try. What do? First, you should talk to your doctor and make sure it's okay. Second, you go buy a bunch of protein and vegetables. Third, you pick a day to start, and on that day, you stop eating carbs. Now, I remember the first time I tried this. I had decided to try the Dukan diet, so I stopped eating carbs one morning. I lasted less than a day. My body was screaming for carbs, and as soon as I stopped eating carbs, I noticed that carbs, or reminders of carbs, are everywhere. Plus, I had bought not nearly enough of the no-carb foods that I would need to survive on a no-carb diet. I had to retreat, actually, and try again the next week, and that time, it actually worked a lot better. It does get easier, but the first time or two can be weird. Fourth, you should drink a lot of water while you're doing this. You're going to be thirsty, so just drink a lot of water. And then finally, even though your body may be screaming for carbs, you have to make it through the first week. It gets way easier after you break your carb addiction, which takes about a week sometimes. But if you are a carb addict, you will definitely go through some form of withdrawal. Some people get headaches, some people get constipated or the opposite, some people get irritable, other people have no problems at all, or withdrawal symptoms end after a day or two. If you have problems with low-carb diets, then just start eating carbs again. It's not worth it. But for a lot of people, if you can just get through the first few days, it's fine. So here's what I notice when I start on a low-carb diet. For me, in my body, when I go low-carb and keep my carbs below 50 grams a day, I get 3 gigantic benefits. First, all the hunger pangs, cravings, bingings go away. My appetite goes way down. I find that I can skip meals if I want. Second, now with all those cravings gone, I can use a food diary and it works. I can actually run a calorie deficit on a day-to-day basis. And third, if I can run a calorie deficit, then I do lose weight. It's that simple. What do you do if you're on a low-carb diet and you get hungry? You eat more protein. Yes, you just eat more protein or more vegetables. No nitrate, low sodium, low-fat lunch meat really works for me as a snack if I get hungry. I can eat a couple of ounces and it solves a midday hunger problem or a late-night munchies problem. But I really don't have that many problems. There is this thing, this effect from being on a low-carb diet that really gets rid of my cravings and my appetite, and it really helps. I'm going to put a page on mbthin.com with more details if you want them about getting started with low-carb dieting. If you want to try this, go look at that page for additional information and links to lots of other resources on the web. So this is exercise 4, your 4th exercise. If your doctor is okay with it, start a low-carb diet and combine it with a food diary. Stick with it for several weeks. Run a calorie deficit and watch what happens to your weight. Just look at my weekly status reports. I've lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks. It works so well for my body and for millions of other bodies. Plus, it works pretty fast enough to really notice how well it's working. And this helps you keep on track and keep motivated. If you'd like to join me and try these same techniques and lose weight with me so that we can lose weight together, then please like and subscribe this video and invite your friends. If you have friends who need to lose weight, invite them along for the ride. Thanks for watching today.